Hello again, sweet darlings. I'm here to share with you a labor of love that I have been working on, which really started as a labor of love just for me, because I have been looking for a way to bring liturgical living alive for myself as a Catholic convert, as a busy mom. I thought, how can I manageably do this? How am I going to find time to pray about the saints, learn about the saints, try to celebrate their feast days? It all seemed very overwhelming. So that is why I have designed for myself, and now for you, something called Feasting with the Saints, which is a recipe booklet for every single month of the calendar year, and it is going to follow the pre-1955 traditional Roman Catholic calendar, because as I learned when I was looking into this, there are so many feast days and special days that have been removed since Vatican II. And I wanted to learn about those saints as well. I wanted to learn about those traditions, because for my husband and I, tradition and the traditional Latin Mass and the traditional rite in the Roman Catholic Church drew us into faith in such a big way, which is a story for another video. But suffice it to say, we are very passionate about kind of restoring that beauty and that tradition. And I know so many Catholic families out there feel the same way. And so I'm really excited to share this with you. I think it will be a great resource for mums and homemakers out there, and single ladies as well, who want to cook new and delicious dishes for yourself, for your family, for your parish, and at the same time explore the saints throughout the year. So for March, for example, this is 19 recipes, one for every single feast day of the pre-1955 calendar in March, and it is a lovely companion to the pre-1955 and 1962 traditional Roman Catholic calendar that my husband and I designed late last year for this year. So we did a limited run, and again, this was something that we really wanted to have one for ourselves, and we struggled to find one. We wanted to follow the traditional calendar, and we couldn't find one, so we thought we will make one. And that's what we've done. So this is also available on our website. There is a bundle discount available if you would like to get a calendar and you didn't get one yet, and follow along with that, which is what I want to invite you to do. That is what I am going to be doing for the rest of this year, and into January and February next year. I'm going to make these recipes with you. I am going to commit and try to keep to it, to do a recipe video on this channel every single week, talk about a saint that recipe corresponds to, talk about how it has inspired me, how it might inspire you, break the recipe down, and just have a little bit of fun with it. I am a big believer that I suppose maybe in my experience as a convert, like, faith doesn't have to be too complicated. We don't have to make it too complicated with ourselves. We can be a little bit gentle on ourselves and say, it's okay that I don't have time to read a book about the saints, but I have to cook every day. So I probably do have time to read one A4 page about a saint while I cook a recipe for their feast. So that is the way that I've designed it, because that's how I imagined that I might use this if I was, trying to do this, and I thought, how am I going to do this for myself? So what I've done is I've done a page of information about each saint in the month. That includes history of their life, some traditions surrounding their feast day, and maybe like a prayer or novena to them. Something, again, if you want to say a little prayer while you're cooking and think of them. Some of those saints, very, very powerful. Why I've chosen the recipe that I've chosen. So some of the recipes are specifically related to traditions around their day. Some feast days people do make certain dishes, which was interesting in itself to learn about. And some of them are just kind of cuisine that is related to the region where that saint is from, or kind of a theme from their life. If they were very humble, if there kind of are stories that stand out that made me kind of connect it to a certain type of recipe or cuisine. I explain why I've chosen those in there as well. And then each recipe is also broken down on the other page. So you would have kind of your page of information and then your page for the recipes side by side. I'm planning to hole punch these and put them into my ring binder, which is where I keep my recipes. And then I'll be able to have this on the countertop and kind of make my little lemon shortbread cookies, as the case may be in this example, and read about the saint or the feast day for that recipe. So this Feasting with the Saints booklet is now available on our website. It's £3.50. If you're in the UK, that will automatically convert wherever you look at the website from in the world. And we've done it as a PDF download because I really wanted this to be low cost for women out there around the world, faithful Catholics. who are looking for a new way to bring their faith to life, and also so that you can print it and store it however you want. You can save it on your computer. Maybe you prefer to look at recipes on your computer. Maybe you want to look at it on your phone. Maybe you want to print out a copy for yourself and you want to print out a copy for your mom. I love that idea that these might be shared with community and with other people that you care about, in the way that I have some very special recipes that have been handed to me in my life, just when I have needed them. So that's also why I've designed them in the way that this kind of looks handwritten. Hopefully you can see on the camera there. Maybe if I bring it forward a little bit, you'll see better. Because some of my favorite recipe books are specifically designed that way, and it just feels like kind of a love note from my grandmother or something, this handwritten recipe style. There's a space on every single recipe to make your own notes as well, and that might be a note that you want to make about the saint that you've learned about. It might be a note on how you can improve the recipe, or anything else really that you might want a little bit of space for. So there's an example. There's just like a little note section for every single recipe in the collection. Since I've been putting this together, I've just been thinking a lot more about these saints. I had a few favorite saints before, but really that was something very new for me as a Catholic convert. I thought, I couldn't believe, when someone told me how many saints there were. I can't even remember the number, but hundreds and hundreds, maybe it's thousands. I really don't know, but that just seemed like so many for me to get my head around. So as you do, you pick a confirmation saint. Mine is St. Francis of Rome, and I've mentioned in another video how much I love St. Therese, the little flower. But also many of these saints in March, like St. Agnes of Rome, for example, just me thinking that there was once a 12 or 13-year-old whose faith was so strong that she was willing to die for it. And she really wanted to dedicate her life to God, and they were trying to marry her off, and the guy who wanted to marry her reported her as a Christian, so then, she got martyred because she wouldn't marry him, because she wanted to basically stay pure for Christ. Those kinds of stories are so powerful. I think even if today in the West, for example, we're not facing serious persecution as Catholics, but around the world, Christians are still facing so much persecution and violence, and it's easy to forget about that there are still Christians around the world who are following in the footsteps of those saints, very much so, and fighting very hard for their faith. So I think if there's even like small things that I can do in my own life to inspire myself, should a tough time come, and remind myself how many people have come before me who have done great things, even in much more like difficult times in history. That's been really inspiring already to me. And I'm just excited to make some really nice new recipes. So I really hope that you'll follow along with me on this little journey, whether you view it as just kind of a fun cooking experiment, whether you want to learn about new saints, whether you are interested in following the pre-1955 traditional Roman Catholic calendar, or if you just are looking for kind of a nice recipe collection to try fasting in Lent, and kind of lead up to that season. Obviously, Lent won't last forever, so we'll have some of those same fasting appropriate recipes in April, but then we'll be on to different spring, summer, autumn flavors, and lots of lovely recipes to look forward to. But I'm gonna be honest with you, if I make a mistake, this isn't a recipe channel, so I'm sure that some of these recipes aren't going to turn out looking show-stopping fantastic, but as long as they taste good and I learned something in the process, and my family enjoyed eating it, I will consider that a success. There's one for cookies. I'm going to make shortbread cookies. They're going to be made with lemons. Yeah, and then we also are going to make this dessert, which is like an almond pastry dessert. And then this one, I'm very excited about this one because it's donuts. Zepole di San Giuseppe. Yeah, it's for St. Joseph.
Okay, we're gonna do this.
Are you writing your list too? You can kind of kickstart with March, with Lent, get your recipes, get a calendar, start following through, and I'm going to be doing this all year, so we can be in it together I would love to hear how it goes. I'd love to hear your feedback on the recipes, what you enjoyed, any photos of recipes that you take. I'll be sharing those as well, how it goes for me. And yeah, I think that we can all just have a really fun time together, cooking together in our respective kitchens around the world, for those that we love, thinking about the saints, getting inspired by them, by their lives, and yeah, thanking God that we have this amazing faith and all of these beautiful traditions that we can draw on. So I hope you really love them. I hope you enjoy feasting with the saints. And yeah, let's get started, and I'll see you next week for my first recipe video, which will be, what's it going to be? Oh, it's going to be a yummy Welsh recipe to celebrate St. David's Day, who is the patron saint of Wales. So I will see you next week for that one. But in the meantime, take good care, everyone, and God bless.